Hi folks, Cyclops FPV here. I've got a bit of an interesting video for you today, which might sort out some problems that people have been having with their ph2 connectors. Now, I know that a lot of people have changed to XT30s and BT2 connectors and that, and with mixed results. The only problem with that idea is that you've got to change all the connectors to your batteries, and if, like many of you who have got these TinyHawks and freestyles and that, you've probably got an abundance of the ph2 type batteries, quite a lot of them, and that would be quite an effort to change all the connectors on them. So what I've done is I've come up with a little idea. Actually, this is Mark II. My first idea was to get the original ph2 connector that came with this, and well, you won't be able to see it on this camera, but what I actually did was I soldered the pins and made them solid. But that's only part of the problem. You see, these, I don't know if you can see it, try and focus as much as I can. These are pressed pins, and the Achilles heel on these are that they're crimped, and they're quite hollow along their shaft, and although they sort of make a tiny bit of an improvement, they don't make a whole lot of difference. And the reason being is because they're crimped, and that's its weakest point. So what I've done, this is an EMAX, it's out of a freestyle. It's a 6-point battery connector, which is only rated to high volt, which I don't use, and which are very bad for your batteries anyway. So what I did was I tried to unsolder them at first, and the pins were so hard to get out, I actually drilled them out in the end, and took the solid pins out. And what you're left with is the ph2 connector with these solid pins. See, but they're a shaft. You see, you get the whole shaft. They're not crimped or anything like that. They're a solid piece of metal, and they go straight in the connector, just like the normal one. But the only difference is that unlike the normal connector, wherever that's gone, here, these are slightly shorter. So what I've done was I cut the connectors off just beyond where the crimps are. So I haven't actually shortened the wire too much, but the plug is shorter. Now the only thing that holds the battery on are the pins, and as you should always do when you disconnect the battery, you should always pull it by the plug and not by the wires. So if you sort of get used to that idea, you shouldn't have a problem. So what are we left with? Right, well, we're left with this. Now, what I've done here is I've soldered the main wires from the TinyHawk straight onto those pins that I showed you, these solid pins. I soldered the wire directly onto it, so it's one continuous flow now. There's no bottleneck, there's no resistance along the way. Now what you could do is put a slightly bigger gauge wire on there, and I think the perfect one with the connector would be, believe it or not, a JST, because they got a really good connection on there, nice flat but thick pins, but the wiring might be a little bit too thick, and the thing that you don't want is too much power going back into the board, because it could end up blowing the board. So I would for now keep it with the standard loom and see how it goes with that, because this can deal with a 2-cell battery, so it shouldn't be too much of a problem. So you got the normal wire that comes out of the battery, and now you got the pin and the pin box, the connector, which is straight off one of these, because all these do, these just pull off. It won't come off. You have to wedge something in there, and then these just pull off. You probably encountered that when you pulled the battery off after charging, but they're strong enough to hold the battery in there. You don't need any other connector to hold it in or anything like that. So that's it. That's directly wired from the board straight to the battery, really. A ph2 connector, which should reduce any sort of lag, really, like under power, because you got when you're doing punch outs and that, you end up with a lot of sag from the battery, and that is because not of so much the pins itself, but the whole connector where it goes into the lead itself. It's where it's crimped, and it just acts as a strangulation, if you like, for the electricity to go through. So if you do this, directly solder it using the pins and the plug out of one of these, you should get something like that, and all works lovely and all that. And then to undo it, you just hold the plug as you should be doing it anyway, and then it's quite a tight fit actually. So because they're slightly bigger pins and they're solid, they're actually quite a tight fit. So there's no way that's going to come out any more normal than the way it was before. So the proof in the pudding is, will it work? Well, under my old way that I did it with the with this, where I just soldered it on and everything, I got a very weird result. Now, I don't usually use these. I use GMB 520s and the included EMAX 450s. Now, this is a 600 Crazy Pony battery at 50C. Now, my 520s are slightly bigger than this by about, I don't know, about 5mm. This is supposed to be a 600, and they're exactly the same size. Well, actually, yeah, it's exactly the same size. So I don't really know if this is a 600. But a 50C rating is quite low compared to an 80/160C, if that's what it really is. I have my reservations about that. But anyway, so flight time. Bearing in mind that my on-screen display, the voltage on it is way out of kilter. It's not accurate at all. I flew this. I was doing a bit of you know, not loops, but you know, I was in acro mode and I was doing flips and all that sort of stuff. I went flying around the field a few times. I went high, you know, all that sort of stuff. A couple of punch outs, and I got 5 minutes out of that. This is under my old way with the old style pin. Yeah, I got 5 minutes out of it, and the on-screen display was screaming land now, and all that. So I came in for a land. It was reading about, well, actually it was reading 2.9 volts. So I've gone home expecting, oh, the battery's probably fried. Connect it up to a hobby grade charger, which I always do, hence why I've butchered this, because I'd never have used this anyway. And lo and behold, it read 3.5 volts. So I was well within my limit. And that's coming from this battery, which is the worst battery I've got. And if I can get 5 minutes out of that, God knows what I can get under this new plug with with either my 450 or my 520s, and these have always performed good for a low milliamp an hour battery. But I should be using this again because I got such a good result out of it. So we'll wait and see. I'll try and do like a video, unedited of course, as all my videos are unedited. It's all shot within real time, and what I'll do is I'll go for a little bit of a fly, do a mixed bag of stuff, and we'll see what the time is, and you'll be able to tell on the video how long the actual flight lasted rather than going by the on-screen display, because as I said, that's well out of whack. It's the scaling on it is awful. So we shall see if this idea has worked. I haven't heard of anyone else doing this actually. They've always used BT2 connectors or JST would have been really good, but no one I've heard of has used them. Or the favourite, the XT30. But again, see, the XT30 is too big, and you're going to need to change all your batteries. This way, you can keep all your batteries. You've got direct power, because your motors, they're all got direct soldering on them. So it seems stupid to have a connector which is bottlenecked when you've got all this power going into it, but it's all limited by the connector. So we'll give that a go, and we'll see how that turns out. But yeah, very promising. And if it works, then share the hell out of this video and get everyone else involved in it. It's an easy job. It doesn't take long. You just tin up the connector ends, tin up your wires, then put them, obviously solder them together, and then what you want to do is put a bit of heat shrink around it as well, just to stop it from touching. Mine are well apart anyway. I did it on the outside, so they can never touch anyway, even in a crash. So yeah, so there you have it. So we'll see how that goes, and maybe I've discovered something new. Alright, well anyway, thanks for watching, and as I said, share the hell out of it if it all works out, and get other people to do the same. Right, well this has been Cyclops FPV. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.